All right, everybody, I think we can get going. How's everybody RDC so far? Going well? Yeah? Cool, cool. That's great. I want to start with a little housekeeping item. The title of this presentation in the schedule and the website, other places, the signage, you might have seen it, is Leverage the World Around You with YouTubers. And that seems a little more transcendental than what I actually have planned for today, which is to talk to you about why you should and how you can work with YouTubers to promote your games. So if you were thinking of something a little more deep and meaningful than that, you know, something like Sorkis's, like All Things Must Grow, I'm sorry to disappoint. You can check out one of the other sessions going on right now, unless you're on the live stream, in which case you're stuck with me, sorry. All right, so my name is Rodrigo Velos. People call me Rod. I have been working with gaming video content since 2012, when I became the first director of gaming content at YouTube. 3 years later, I joined Twitter as Twitter's first director of gaming content. And after that, I worked on a few other UGC platforms before joining Roblox last year as director of influencer marketing. At Roblox, I'm Vidrox, and I'm responsible for the Roblox Video Stars program, as well as a few other video-related initiatives. And you can also contact me on Twitter, where I'm pretty active. All right, so today, we're going to start with a high-level look at that external video ecosystem and how it relates to user behavior on Roblox, right? So there are 3 reasons that you should care about YouTube and YouTubers. So first, it's a top source of awareness for Roblox and for your games, right? So if you look at this chart, number 1 is friends, right? Word of mouth. So the best thing you can do to promote your games is make great games, right? That's the first step, and get people to talk about your games, right? And you have lots of people helping you do that here today. So I'm gonna focus on the second thing you should think about doing, which is get as many eyeballs as possible on your game on YouTube, right? So number 1, discovery. That's why you should care about YouTube. Number 2, engagement, right? There's an increasing amount of research showing that the more people watch people playing games, the more they play those games. Fairly obvious, right? And third, spend. The more people watch games being played, the more they spend on those games as well. So that's not just why you should care, that's why influencer marketing has become the primary marketing channel, not just for Roblox, but for the entire video game industry. So, you know, when we look at the correlation between that video viewership, Roblox video viewership, and the growth of the platform, it really speaks for itself. You can see it here, right? So generally speaking, we see this symbiotic pattern that holds true at the individual game level. So the most watched games are also the most played, and in more often than not, also the highest earning. So to give a sense of the incredible size of this ecosystem, I'm gonna give you a number in the thousands. In 2019 alone, over 340,000 accounts across social media uploaded a Roblox video. Next to number in the millions, they uploaded over 1 million videos in 2019 alone, 1 million Roblox videos uploaded. And my favorite number of all, we had 1 billion views on Roblox videos every single week in 2019, right? So that's a lot of viewership. Thank you. So let's put that another way. If we think about the monthly active users of Roblox, that means that every user of Roblox, assuming every single user watches video, every single user is watching 40 to 60 videos a month, or more than one every single day, right? So the next thing we should understand is it's important for us to understand what is being watched and where it's being watched. So lots of data here on this graph. I'm gonna kind of simplify it. First, almost all of it is on YouTube. Certainly there are other platforms where gaming video is published and happens, namely Twitch is an important platform, but for Roblox, we really see a high concentration in YouTube. That's why this presentation is about YouTubers, right? We are, as a platform, agnostic as to where the video is published, but YouTube is the most relevant for us now. It's almost all on-demand video. That's the second important thing to look at. Live is certainly growing. It's actually doubled from last year to this year, but it's still a fairly small part of the viewership. And for what it's worth, it is also happening on YouTube. So curiously, like, we're not seeing the live happen on Twitch as happens with other games. Third, it's almost all over 10 minutes long, right? So 85% of the videos watched are over 10 minutes long. It's almost all made by influencers. It's mostly gaming content creators as opposed to other types of influencers. And it's mostly in 4 languages: English, Russian, Portuguese, and Spanish. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about the content, let's talk about the makers of that content, right? And let me start by saying that most of them dislike the word influencer. And I think that's fair. I don't really love it myself. I think influence is more an outcome than a profession or a craft, right? So they prefer to think of themselves as either creators or as YouTubers. I think the industry terms for what they do vary from talent or entertainer to producer to videographer to publisher. A lot of them are adopting different aspects of those different roles in the entertainment industry. I myself find it most useful to think about them as small and medium entertainment companies, right? So, in other words, to me, YouTubers like a small Disney or Nickelodeon, right? So their work is about creating entertaining content that really speaks to an audience, often at an emotional level. And then about managing the relationships with the fans of that content at varying levels of intensity, right? From a business perspective, that means they're monetizing the audience both for profit, but also to reinvest in creating more, better content, products, and experiences. Okay, so most entertainment and media businesses follow a pattern something like this, right? Where audience is highly concentrated around a few top creators, brands, properties, titles. This power curve or long tail pattern of concentration of audiences is really common in what are called hit-driven businesses, which includes media and entertainment, but also includes something like venture capital, right, where one is often like paying for the others. And it also holds true, of course, for the video game industry and for social media. So it also holds true for our Roblox video creators, right? 99% of all that viewership that we talked about is happening on just 1%, just slightly over 1% of all of those accounts that we mentioned, right? So, and even when you look at that small group of 4,000 video creators who are responsible for 99% of the Roblox viewership, and that's the group that's shown here on this graph, you still within that group have a tremendous pattern of concentration, right? Can you guess one other community that follows this pattern? That's right, you guys. Similar pattern, similar industry, and we're gonna keep seeing this, right? So let's talk about, what it takes to make it into that top 1%. It's extremely difficult, as you can imagine. It doesn't just take, talent and energy and a little bit of luck, but it takes an enormous amount of dedication, perseverance, and hard work. So I want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek or a peek behind the curtain of what it is to be a YouTuber, right? So, and here these stats are for those 4,000 Roblox YouTubers that we were looking at. So, on average, they're publishing 12 to 13 videos a month, right? And that's average. So that means like 3 videos per week. Behind that average, what actually exists, and these are Roblox videos, so behind that average you have a group that's publishing every day or twice a day. You have a group that's publishing every day or twice a day, but not exclusively Roblox, so they're also producing other types of content. And you have a group that's producing fewer videos, but investing a lot more time per video because they're doing things like animation or music videos or movies that require more investment and end up with more viewership, right? So lots and lots of time. Each video that they produce, we're talking hours and hours of recording time plus editing time. Once that video is up and published, each video will receive an average of 500 to 700 comments on YouTube. And fans expect to see engagement with that commentary, and as well as on other platforms like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or all of them, or Discord, where the creator's expected to maintain a presence. And so this kind of like, making videos and engaging with fans and this kind of day-to-day focus of the video creator's work, they'll often refer to it as the grind, and it is a hard job and a very demanding job. But that's okay, right? Because they're raking in the cash, right? They're bringing in a lot of dough, and so no problems being well compensated. Not quite, So here, this is more of an illustrative graph, but we have like the CPM, which is the cost per 1,000 impressions that's typically charged in the market, and this is for English language content. Let's say it's around $50. But the video creators actually not seeing a lot of that cash. First, because of the rev share, right? So YouTube keeps 45% of the revenue. And of the remaining revenue, they're actually only seeing a small share because a large portion of the views are not actually monetized, right? So when you skip an ad, that's not monetized. So in the end, that $50 becomes less than $5, right? One YouTuber put it to me in a great way that I thought is very kind of illustrative. It's like, okay, well, that means if a fan of mine watches a video of mine every day for 3 years, I make $5, right? That's a challenging business to be in. So they end up kind of diversifying into other revenue opportunities like sponsored videos or transactional or subscription content, and merchandise and live experiences, but each one of those comes with its own operating costs and its own fan engagement and content production requirements. So not an easy job, very hard to stay at this top. Does any of that sound familiar to you guys? I thought it might, and that's kind of something I want to make sure you take away from today, is that you have a lot more in common with Roblox YouTubers than either of you might think. So moving on, so we started the Roblox Video Stars program a couple of years ago. How many of you are aware of the Video Stars program? All right, cool, about half, I'd say. That's good. So the idea of this program is really to support that community of creators and contribute to its healthy growth and development, and also to learn from that group of creators. So we have 200 channels in the program today. They're publishing Roblox content in 5 different languages, and they represent about 60% of all the Roblox viewership in those languages. So through this program, beyond directly supporting these creators to whom we offer a few benefits and things that will facilitate their business and make Roblox a more attractive content creation business for them, We think it accomplishes a few other functions, as I said. So first, we think it creates an incentive for those aspiring and smaller Roblox YouTubers to continue investing in Roblox content, in their growth, in their development, and to, it becomes a North Star for them in terms of this is what I want to achieve in my career. We also think it ends up being kind of an attractive, a way of attracting other large YouTubers that may be creating content with different games or about different topics to Roblox. Because once you've facilitated the business, you've made the business more attractive, then there's an opportunity for them to diversify and start creating Roblox content. And last but not least, we want to learn from this group of top creators, what are the tools that we can build for video creators to make it easier for them to do that work. And with that, offer those tools not just to this small group of video stars, but to all video creators who may want to work with Roblox. All right, so now that we've understood kind of the YouTube game and its players, we're finally ready to talk about how you can leverage the world around you. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about how to promote your games. So any time of your marketing and promotion that you do, the goal is pretty much threefold. You want to convey the right message. You want to convey that message to as many of your target audience as possible, and you want to do that at the lowest cost. Right? So Roblox Video Stars is a great starting point if you're looking for a Roblox audience. Obviously, they command a large part of that audience in those languages, as I mentioned. But depending on the size of your studio or the nature of your game, it may and often does make sense to work with other aspiring and smaller Roblox content creators, as well as to look outside of the Roblox content creation community and see what other creators of other games that have an affinity with yours. And affinity is a big part of this. So, before even looking at size and viewership, you should be looking at fit and interest, right? So the target audience for your games or for any product is often the audience that's already consuming similar products and services, right? So in addition to size and viewership, you should be asking yourself, would your game be a good fit on that YouTuber's channel? Would their audience be interested in your game? If those answers are yes, then you can move on to what's the message that you need to put together, and how do you deliver that message? So once you identify a good mix of channels for your promotional message, then research shows that you need to get each message in front of your audience multiple times to ensure that it actually gets through, right? So fit and interest, is there a good fit? Then reach, that's where the size and the viewership of the channel come in, and so you definitely want to look within those top 4,000 that concentrate 99% of that viewership, and then ensure that it actually gets through, so with a significant amount of frequency. All right, so finally, we're ready. You've identified the channels that you want to work with, and next you need to come up with a business proposal. So I recommend starting by putting yourself in their shoes. So you guys, are all in the dev forum. I'm sure you see a lot of opportunities posted there. Think about what proposals and opportunities in the dev forum get your attention, and which ones don't. What differentiates those good business proposals from the ones that you kind of skim through and maybe don't even respond to. The good news is that because you share a platform, essentially you're all on Roblox, there's a natural affinity there that reduces risk for you and for them. And there's also lots of different mechanisms for value exchange between you, right? Because you don't need to say just cold hard cash. And this slide is by no means exhaustive. So, use your imagination. I hope to give you like some general guidelines, but I'm sure that you guys can come up with much more creative and imaginative things than I can for each of these categories. And once you get that going and you start having relationships with YouTubers, you should absolutely talk to them about what kinds of things will help them and would be interesting for them and that you could deliver as value, right? So having said that, with that disclaimer, let me talk a little bit about a few of the categories of incentives that could make sense. The first one is content, right? As we discussed, they we're talking like 12 to 13 videos a month on average. That's a lot of content production. It's hard to come up with new, fresh ideas. It's hard to, what can you do to make that easier for them? What tools can you provide that will make it, help them create better or more content based on your game? Think things like early access, unique codes and currency, admin commands, access to the cinematic camera, which is an amazing tool for capturing content, VIP servers, unlimited, unlimited items, even if they can't own them, at least use them, and so forth, right? Next, fan engagement. So we generated a lot of fun fan engagement with our Video Star Egg and pizza launchers in a few recent events. Can you come up with fun and new ways for YouTubers to interact with their fans inside your game? I'm sure you can. Several developers have even created like a YouTuber or influencer role in their game group to which they attribute certain, of these capabilities, and it's a great way to, it's kind of like their own little Video Stars program, which is a great idea and something I encourage you guys to do. Next up, promotion. So are there ways you can promote their content or products in your game? We saw how watching and playing and spending all fuel one another and all relate to one another. So it makes absolute sense for you guys to tighten that loop in your games and make it work better for everybody. In this example, I don't know if you guys can see, but what you have is the Royal High team promoting YouTuber star codes in their shop, in the shop of their game. So if people have to buy more Robux, they're going to use the star code. All right, so what to propose to whom of all this? So you're making all these benefits, what do you give to whom? Well, basically, the basic rule is the more cost to you, and by that I mean operational and unit cost, the narrower the distribution should be, right? So if something is low cost for you, you should give it out as widely as possible to as many YouTubers as you can, while you're also making more selective big bets that cost you more resources. Which brings us to money, right? So any of you can actually walk out of here today, make your own video ad, and go on YouTube and target that video ad on that mix of channels that you selected. And that's going to give you the most control over your, your measurement and your affinity and your frequency and your reach and your message. But it's also going to be the most risky. So there, beyond that, there are other ways that you can do this. You can think, are there, because again you share a platform, you maybe negotiate a good rate for a sponsored video. Like I said, you have audience affinity. There's a big delta between the CPM that the market charges for you to advertise and what they're seeing, and you can operate within that CPM in a way that benefits both of you. You pay less, and they earn more. You can think about ways of payment that facilitate. So these are people who may be willing to accept payment in Robux. Few service providers outside of Roblox may be willing to do that. Or you can think about a barter exchange. Lots of YouTubers are interested in making their own games. Maybe you can think of hey, I will help you make your game, you help me promote mine. So lots of ways to do this thing. I would encourage you to think about longer-term partnerships, medium, so ways where you can actually share your value, the value that you're building together, right? So I will finish up with an example. So this is a case the developers of Robloxian High School recently partnered with one of the top role-play video creators on YouTube. on a really cool short-term activation. So first of all, great fit, right? Role-play YouTuber, Robloxian in high school. Second, great reach. She has 4 million subscribers. Her videos routinely get 1 million views. By giving that YouTuber a rev share on item sales over a couple of weeks, they created an incentive for her to share a fun and positive message about their game. So she was making an authentic message for her audience on their behalf. Multiple times, obviously, huge audience, so frequency we talked about, and reach. And this free branded item they created for her created additional fan engagement incentive for her and her fans, and also may have served as a mechanism for them to measure how much value they generated. So when you've come up with a solid value proposition for your target YouTubers, get in touch with them, email, Twitter. If you have a good offer, they will listen, they will reply. Only a small number really will overlook something like that. Introduce yourself, sell yourself, tell them who you are, what you've done. Make your pitch and be ready to negotiate. And depending on what you negotiate, put it in writing. That's good for everybody. And if it's a large enough value, you might want to even consider a lawyer. So I want to leave you with 2 thoughts. First, I hope I've been able to show you that partnering with Roblox YouTubers is a great opportunity, something you absolutely can and should do. And secondly, I hope you're also walking away realizing that you have a lot more in common than you think. So I look forward to seeing both communities do amazing things in the coming year, hopefully together.